Hello, I'm James Caldwell. In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at Dionisio Aguado's Estudio, an early repertoire piece that's found in just about every classical guitar method book out there. And we're going to look at a couple of different ways to play it, and why I favor what I call the old school method as arranged by Aaron Shearer. Now, anytime you approach a new piece of music, there's two things that you should do first. Number one, take a look at the key signature. In this piece, there is no indicated key signature, which means it must be in either C major or A minor. And because the first note's in A and the last note's in A, it's probably in A minor. And that means there are no sharps and flats unless indicated in the music. The second thing to do is to look at the time signature. And this one is in 4/4 time. In some editions, they have a C there for common time, which is equivalent to 4/4 time. Next, look over the music. You'll notice in this piece that it's largely a series of eighth notes, which means that you'll be counting each measure as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And finally, over the first four notes, there's a fingering given of P-I-M-I, and after that it says etc., which means we're going to be doing that pretty much on every beat throughout the piece. Now that we have that overview out of the way, let's get started with measure 1. The first four notes are played in the first position, and the notes are A on the third string, C on the second string, and the open first string E. We're going to play the indicated fingering of P-I-M-I. The second set of four notes is exactly the same. In measure 2, there's a G sharp. Now we could switch to finger 1 here to play that G sharp. And on the second beat to start, there's an E on the fourth string, and we could play that with finger 2. That's the way it's indicated in many newer editions. However, the Aaron Shearer edition, it would have us play that measure by sliding the 2 finger, which was on A, sliding it down 1 fret to the G sharp, and playing the E with the third finger. The next measure starts with a B, and there's a 3 in a circle underneath it, which means the B must be played on the third string. Now, in many new editions, they would have you stay in first position and play that B with the fourth finger, and the next D with the third finger, and the open E. But in the Aaron Shearer edition, we're going to slide our 2 finger off from the G sharp up 3 frets to the B and play the D with our first finger. And the fourth measure, we're back where we started with a low A. So, to recap, the first 4 measures played with Aaron Shearer's fingering keeps the second finger on the third string. It starts up the second fret, slides down 1, slides up 3, slides back to 2. Played like this. Many newer editions have those measures written out to keep the hand in first position and make use of the third and fourth finger, and they would be played like this. It's good to be able to do it both ways. However, I feel that keeping the second finger on the third string and shifting around makes it flow quite a bit more smoothly. Okay, on to the second line. First 4 notes are just like in the first measure. This is measure 5. The next 4 notes in that measure, we get an open G and a C sharp. And there's really nothing to do there except use the second finger, take it off of the A, move it over to the C sharp on the second string. Measure 6, third finger goes down on F on the fourth string, fourth finger goes down on D on the second string, first finger goes down on F on the first string. And then for the next 4 notes in that measure, we lift off the third finger to get the open D string. Some people have trouble with this measure at first because we're holding down 4 and 1 starting with the 3 down, lifting 3 off. It might be good just to practice that exchange a few times. Because a lot of beginners, when they get to that change there, they think, I need to lift the 3rd finger, but guess what? The 3rd finger stays down and the others come off. So make sure you can make that change effortlessly. Now, with Aaron Shearer's fingerings, we just released the 3rd finger and the 2nd finger, and we're going to use those in measure 7. 3rd finger will go down on the E on the 4th string. The 2nd finger will go down on C on the 2nd string. Got the open E there. And to finish out measure 7, our 1st finger is now free, and it goes down on G sharp. And measure 8, back to the 2-finger A minor chord. So what I like about the Aaron Shearer fingering is that in measure 6, we're playing this F, D, F, D, releasing the 3rd finger. We just freed up these 2 fingers and we're going to use them in the next measure. Now our 1st finger is free and we're going to use it right there. 2nd finger is free. Use it there. So we're freeing up the fingers that we need to use next. In newer editions, that line, those 4 measures would be played like this, staying in 1st position. No difference there or there. But then in the 7th measure, it'd be 2-1, and you hop the 1 finger over to G sharp. And measure 8's the same. I just feel that in measure 7, if we play it with the 2nd finger on E and the 1st finger on C, when you go for this G sharp, you have to hop the finger off of C over to G sharp. And if you're not very careful, you will hear that open B as you lift off to go for the G sharp. But if we play it with Aaron Shearer's fingerings, we have a 3 and a 2 down. Then the 1 goes down. You don't hear anything except the notes you're playing. Now on to part 2, or the next 8 measures. This is really pretty straightforward here. Measure 9 is just like measure 1. Measure 10, we have some open strings and just the 1st finger on the 1st string F. Then we add the low G on the 6th string to that. Measure 11, 2 C's, 5th string, 2nd string. And then we add the E on the 4th string. Measure 12 is just like measure 10, just 1 finger on F, open G, open B, add the low G. Now the last 4 measures, 13, 14, 15, and 16, the bass starts to move around quite a bit. Starting measure 13 with the 3rd finger down on the 5th string C and the 1st finger on the 2nd string C. Now, right here we're going to go for a B on the 5th string and a D on the 2nd string. So that change from the 2 C's, fingers 3 and 1, to fingers 2 and 4, again, it's a nice exchange of fingers. I refer to it as an exchange of weight. The weight is on the 3rd and 1st fingers here. They're released and the 2nd and 4th fingers go down and take the weight. On to measure 14. We start with simply the 1st finger on C, and it's an open A to start in the bass. We add C on the 5th string to that. Measure 15, open D string. And again, just 1 finger on F to start, and then we add the A on the 3rd string. And measure 16, we have a G sharp. I like to slide my 2 finger down off the A, as we did earlier in measure 2. Ends with a low E. And then the first 8 measures are repeated to complete the piece. I'm going to play through it using the Aaron Shearer fingerings, and we'll talk some more about it. Okay, one feature of this piece of music is that the melody is found in the first note of each little arpeggio, and that's played with the thumb. Because the thumb is naturally heavier and stronger, it's easy to bring out the melody in this piece. And what we want to hear as we play through it is the notes that are played with the thumb. They should stand out. That's the first 8 measures. You really want to hear that when you play it. So let the thumb be heavy and dominate. Okay, now I'm going to play through it using the fingerings that are found in many modern editions, which the intention is to keep the hand in the first position, make use of the 3rd and 4th fingers when appropriate. Here we go. Probably sounds about the same. However, I find forcing my hand to stay in the first position and using the 3rd and 4th finger a little more awkward, and some of the exchanges feel a little bit clumsy, and I think they're smoother using the old-fashioned Aaron Shearer fingerings. Well, that's our look at Dionisio Aguado's Estudio, Study in A minor, as arranged by Aaron Shearer with considerations of other more modern arrangements. I hope you found this video helpful, and maybe it gave you something to think about as you practice this piece. Until next time, I'm James Caldwell. Stay tuned for more essential studies in classical guitar. Thank you for watching.